Hi everyone, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. Well, we're gonna start the streaming now for the IELTS Advanced, and actually we're gonna continue with our lessons with the previous. So, here's the thing we're gonna start it. Today we're gonna discuss about the writing techniques and some of the essay that we are working through. Okay. So first we're going to deal with some answers, and by the way, I hope my voice will be clear out soon. Are we going to check now the, what do you call it, the live stream now? We're going to do some tests. Okay, here we go. Here we start again. So, my dear friends, welcome back to the IELTS, and welcome to the fall, basically. Before we're going to start, I want to say stay safe and keep washing up on healthcare procedures. And you're just going to be fine for sure. You're just going to be absolutely fine. Just follow up, and with our channel here, we're going to discuss about IELTS screening test, what we call it. There is some kind of techniques of IELTS, what we call it IELTS screening procedures, especially for the writing techniques. Now, in the writing techniques, we are using some opinions, some essay in task 1 or in task 2. And basically, we're going to discuss about task 2, including vocabs, including some techniques that we're going to use, and including some grammatic forms, what we need in punctuations, and what we need to do about details. Today we're going to discuss about writing techniques, opinions, and some flaws while students and applicants at the exam shouldn't do in IELTS. The most part of thing that we will arrange it is to see the flaws. We have some techniques and vocabs that possible is go through a realm of procedures. For example, when we say the word abroad and the word aboard, is actually they are similar to some, but they are different meanings totally. But in this case, we're going to use it to some techniques that we cover up. Let's go ahead to the screen here, and we see it here. First, we're going to go to the writing. So what we're going to do in this unit or in this procedure. In IELTS exam, first, it's the best punishment. I think prison is the best punishment. Or no, I don't think prison is the best punishment. And we think about two main points to support your opinion. So, when you start writing, remember this. And I'm telling you this technique of writers, not even as an examiner or applicant. When you're writing an opinion here, or the writing task 2 in IELTS, you should support your opinion with two theoretical arguments that support your idea. Minimum 2. Don't write 1 because it'll not be countable for it. So, here's the thing. So, think of two main points to support your opinion. Write about them with examples. You have to be precise in the examples. Some details you need to mention it in the examples. Okay. By the way, during the, in the writing, we usually have a procedure. So, we got, for example, the introduction, which is 2 parts, and the paragraph, which is calm body and active body, which is the main paragraph. We're going to go through this right now. And afterwards, we're going to go for, the conclusion. And the conclusion, there are consequences and conclusion, which is summarize and results. So these are 6 procedures we need to follow up in writing techniques. So I see here there are, Zainab, she involved here in the chat, and she's asking about the lesson. So it's an IELTS for writing, task 2. So remember, now we think about alternative opinion, and we are using however, or to put it in another way, some of them we use bridges. So since you are studying IELTS, you should know the bridges between the words and context of the paragraph itself. So, for example, however, some people argue that So in the procedure of the bridges or alternative opinion, we usually do what do you call it, the bridge, input reported verb, and the reported verb continue after that in sequence. So like here, however, some people argue that. However, some people demand that. It's what we are using reported verbs. And give example that make your essay have good balance. You know, when you put it there, two short concept, you are putting the two balance between them. So basically, you organize your essay in a way that the reader is interested to continue with it, not just to skim it and just throw it away. No. When you're writing an essay, remember, folks, when you're writing an essay, you need to categorize your essay in a way that the readers should continue to read it to the end, not just skim it, go to the idea and just throw it away. So the way, the technique that we're going to use it today is how to cover that flaws in the first place. Now remember, write a short conclusion to summarize your point or restate your opinion. Usually in summarizing, we are going through many complications. Usually there are conclusions and consequences and summarize and brief results. So there are four, and actually I hope in the next possible next lessons we're going to cover that up. And the minimum, of course, is 250 words in task 2. So now let's go more in a dramatic way. Let's go more in a dramatic way. If we talk about crime and punishment words, basically let's go to the idea of a crime and punishment words. And I hope some of the lessons, some of the users are still live online now. And we're going to work out to the sequence of words or the meaning of the words that we need to use in some essay and techniques. So let's go for some details here. Now, if we go, for example, as I see here, a fine, or life imprisonment, or an antisocial behavior order, or ASBO. By the way, it's very famous, ASBO, in the United States and UK. This, you can see it all the time. Or capital punishment, or corporal punishment, or community punishment, or a prison sentence, or a curfew order. Now, this what happened is what we are covering this point here. Now, let's go to the first one and let's see what is the answers. For example, if we go for a fine, okay, so what is the fine here? We will go to, what do you call it, G, is the money that you have to pay as a form of punishment. By the way, fine, when I say I'm fine, it means I'm good. But when you say you got a fine, it means there is a money that you have to pay as a form of punishment. Okay, if we go for 2. And we're going to say life imprisonment. So what are you going to say about this? Who can give me the answer right now? Who can give me the answer? Hi Marva, hi Zainab. Who can give me the answer side if you want to? But we're going to write the translation, of course, here. So what is we going to cover for this? What do you think? I see actually some answers, and I see some of them. Actually, I have, because in 2 channels here and another channels also I broadcast at the same time. So I can see the answers. Life imprisonment is actually F, is a maximum prison sentence which a court can issue, a life. Okay, an antisocial behavior order, or ASBO. What do you think? What is that cover? Let's go ahead. An antisocial behavior is go for which one? Should I put a mark on it? It's C. An order given by the court telling someone not to go to certain places or see particular people because they have behaved antisocially. So this is how things will work. So I want you to write down some techniques before we go to the grammatic forms of some important part of the essay, because that's what we're gonna cover. First, now we discuss about main point. Hi, Dilara. No, it's not C1, it's actually IELTS writing. And we're gonna cover some grammatic forms here. So basically, we can now transfer the screen to another layout before we come back again to the crime and punishment opinions in case we need it. So here we go for the next screen. Now, as we see, there is important part in the articles or writing essay is to define an article or define an essay. So basically, we're going to define a techniques of the essay or what we need to cover. So let's go here. Define the article. So we have the, yeah, and we have, you know, when you write the speakers, or we have an apple, a pilot, whatever. So let's go one by one here. Okay? When you write an essay, it's so important in IELTS to define the articles and define the paragraph and the passage of each one of them, especially in the words. So basically, we're gonna come back. Oh, yes, Dilara, I can see the answers. We will back, Dilara, in 5 minutes. We will back to that sentence, to that example again. And we will back here to just important, but before we're gonna go to the next procedure, I need to explain some grammatic forms. So in the essay of IELTS, we need to define an article. So first, there is a new employment law on retirement. For example, in my opinion, the law is unfair. The law is unfair. We define it by that. Look here. I think the government needs to renew its economic policy. Now here also, we define the, and here, when the speaker or the writer qualified a noun with information to make it definite. For example, you know the minister, so we define the minister as the, who's sacked because he was taking bribes. Okay, the meaning here was sacked because he was taking bribes, it means he was like a dairy guy. So where there is only one of something, like unique, let's put it this way. Something is only one, not father, it's only one. So the word, you know, the moon. Now in this case, we are using the sentence only the unique something, and I said the unique something, and we define it by them. Okay, after that, we have with, and the, of, and of, a. So the rate of, you see here, the rate of. Or, I notice the papers of a follow. So here we have to define where we have to use a and where we don't have to use a. The first one is when there is something general. Let me put it this way. When there is something general. Hi, sir. How you doing? So when there is something general, there is the rate of inflation is rising. Now this is the part that we are dealing with. But when there is not something general, we are specified general to specific. Like, let me put it this way. It's a big box, so we are using the rate of general. But when you say, I noticed the paper of a fellow, something big because paper, of something small, of a fellow. So here we are using a, of a fellow. Now here is the way we're using the the technique of identify the the articles. which one we use with a and which one we use without a. Now simple. Let me explain it again, and I will repeat it. Imagine it's a big box. For example, the word. Okay? So we're using the rate of, or the word of, for example, aliens. Let's take a science fiction story here. And we can carry on for the next one. When I say, for example, I noticed the report of my colleague. Okay? Or of a colleague of mine. Now here I put a because a report is a general. A colleague is a minor to the general. Remember this. So here we are using a. Now with superlative and geographical features of the weather. For example, he is the hardest working employees in the company. We describe something. Superlative. He is the highest. He is the smartest. He is the greatest. And everyone else. Now, for example, I couldn't get to work because of the fog. Now, here we're discussing about weather situation. As I said, geographical features and weather. Remember. So there is a weather. It means we are going to the fog. For example, the fog, the rain. You know, like this. Okay, the bankers have to put this country into a state of crisis. Now here, let me ask you something. You're going to say, teacher, you said about geographical and features and weather. Okay, well, look at what I said. The bankers put this country. No, this country is a geographical feature. We're not talking about the bankers. So here we are using also that. Hi, everyone. Hi again, I can see it. I see the chats here. So if you have any questions, you can ask me, by the way. Okay. So now let's go for the next one, which is, of course, we cover the article. And we just go for the A and N, for example. And when the listener or the reader does not know the thing we are referring to because it's mentioned for the first time. So basically, it's mentioned for the first time. We're not like close friends, so it's mentioned for the first time. And by this way, we are using, there's a new employment law on the retirement ages. So the same procedure here. We need an assistant because there is no assistant in the first place. But when there is an assistant, so we don't need an assistant in the first place. So, for example, when we're using adjective before noun, for example, let's say high taxation on the rich is a very unfair system. Look here what I use. Is a very unfair system. So we are increasing the level, okay, to the highest by using a article. Okay, when using quantities such as fractions or a large number to mean one. So, a third, a fourth, a million, 100. So we don't say 100. Let me tell you. We don't say, for example, I hear some of the folks like during the chatting, well, I have $100. Well, it's wrong. We should say $100 or write $100. So when you write, be careful. In essays, more cover up the techniques, how we use the words to specify what we need to do. Okay. When we talk about one member of a group or class. Now here we are talking about one member of a group or a class. So an employer must be aware of employment law. Okay? We are talking about any employer here. Remember, what I put here is any employer. Yeah? What I put here is any employer. So we are using about one member of a group or a class. Or he is a banker, one of the job type. So we are talking about general situation here. Now, some sentence or some passages or some, statements, we don't have to use any articles. Totally, we don't have to use any articles. So let's go for the first. When referring to a noun general, This is a common academic writing. By the way, this academic writing in IELTS. And this is a common trick. We use it in academic writing. For example, usually the noun is in the plural, but we are mentioned as a singular. Be careful. Jobs are essential if you want to make money. No, because here jobs is a plural thing, but we consider as a one target. So the one target here is a bit from the big thing to small thing. Here we don't have to use any article. Economic is an essential part of politics. Okay? Look at economics. We don't have the economics. No, we don't use that one. Be careful. Don't use the economics. It's wrong. Economics is an essential. Since we mentioned is an essential part of politics here, so we don't have to go through that. So no need to put any article here. Now we're going to go for example, with an uncountable nouns. When the nouns is not a specific group at all. Jobs are essential if you want to make money. We don't say if you want to make a money or the money. No. So we don't use any article here. With most proper nouns names. She works for Google. We don't say she works for the Google or for the Yahoo. No way. Excuse me. So we said she worked for Google. Or we have, excuse me. Or I have another bank account in Switzerland. We don't say in the Switzerland. We say in Switzerland. So remember, when you start writing, remember the article techniques. Now let's go. If you understand, everyone, please write it down in the chat, so I know that you already understand everything. So we can go for a practice actually. Now let's go for practice. Now we will complete the words with the, a, an, or no articles. We put slash. And write the rule numbers. By the way, I don't need from you rule numbers. I just need the answer here. So, let's go for the first one. The first one is mentioned about complete the sentence. Economic advisors. To what? What we're going to use here? Who can give me the answer? I see also there is a distance of fluctuations that work because I have the 3 screens here and I'm seeing all the, the chatting and request. So let's go for the first. Economics advisors to what? What we're going to do to put here? The, a, and what we're going to put here? Who can give me the answer? Marwa, Zainab, Murad, who can give me the answer? Gökhan, correct. The answer is the government. That's perfect. Thank you, Gökhan. Thank you. Now, let's go for the second one. I believe that there should be what? Damla, thank you so much. There. Now the second one, what are we going to use? Come on, carry on. Let's see. Yes. Thank you, Dilara. Thank you, Niveen. I can see a system. We define the article. That's correct. We define the article. Now let's go for the third one. What do you think? Third one. A is correct. What do you think about third one? Come on, this is a bit tricky here. Third one is a bit tricky. So what do you think? Come on. Actually, there is no articles in number 3. Rule 1 and 2. In no articles. Rule 1 and 2. There is no article at all in number 3. Because both of them consist of rule 1 and 2. So there is no article. So inflation is a consist word for employees. So this is what happened. You don't mention any article here. Remember, in number 3, there is no articles. If you write the, and is wrong, totally wrong. And especially in IELTS, we have to be careful in such techniques. You know, we get count the score here and the point. So if you are accurate with the articles, your score is going to be more high. So in this case, you have to carry on with, just to check your articles. Okay, let's go to number 4. Number 4. What do you think? I'm talking about number 4. If there is no article, write no articles. Okay, the right answer of number 4, what's your name? Hazal? Yes, Hazal is the correct one. No article and that. So Tiora has one of the highest. Here we don't see, and we put on the highest revenue of any company in Japan. So we basically go rule 5, rule 3 and 5. Now let's go for 5. Let's go for 5. Which one we put? No, Marva, it's not the Toyota. It's actually Toyota has one of the highest revenues. So let's go to number 5. Number 5. Which one we get? Every company needs. Look what I said again. Look what I said. Every company needs with S. What I said, needs with S, not need. No. All of you answer with a good stuff, but the answer is wrong. Every company needs good stuff. There is no article. And we're talking about rule number 2. Rule number 2. Company, part of group, remember. Rule number 2. So 5 is rule number 2. No more. The company needs good stuff, not a good stuff. Remember this. Okay, now number 6. Wonderful. I see the reaction is good here. I can see that's wonderful. Okay. My father, what? My father, what? And Gökhan, the answer is correct. Thank you, Gökhan. The answer is an employment lawyer. An employment lawyer. Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, let's go for number 7. I think that's easy part because it's the word, it's unique. Remember, unique. Where something talk about unique. So come on, folks. What is it? What are you going to tell me? What do you think? Exactly. The word economy. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Now, remember, we have something important here, and about this grammar tip, about some grammar tips here. You know, proper nouns or names can sometimes take article. This sometimes happens. And in IELTS important part, especially in academic form, sometimes we have to cover that some points where they're names or proper nouns. And we deal with them like take article. And the best way to decide is to think whether is the proper noun is a part of a group or it's not. So this noun is a part of group or not. So then it may take the article. For example, the UN, the United Nations, the WHO, World Health Organization. Now this is a part of group of nations. So we put, not say UN, the UN. The United States, a group of states. Okay? So here we are putting exactly the word because we basically, it's a unique situation, so we don't have to use article. Yes, because UN, you said UN is only one, and it's only one article here. But the point here we are dealing is it's a part of group. We don't think about it's unique. Okay? So, for example, because it's part of group, a part of bigger community, we are using article. But if you look from the other side, UN is only one UN. There is no another UN. So you basically, you have to think in different way to find the article, or we don't use the article. It's simple. Now let's go for the next training. It is a bit, will be in adventure mode. Now as you see, and I'm gonna zoom in here, more zoom in if I have to. Okay, now let's practice together. Let's practice together. Okay? And let's see the exercise 2 together. So guys, if everyone is ready, let's go. Write ready in the group chat. Write ready in the group chat if you are ready to go. Or if I go back and explain again. So if you're ready, let's go for complete the space. Now we have spaces here, blanks, and let's see, consider this as an article. You're writing an essay. And this is an essay in front of you, one of the opinion essay, and you think about how to use it. So let's go for the first, okay? What we're gonna use here? Third of all employees. What we're going to use in number 1? So what are you going to use in number 1? Marwa, Niveen, anyone? Come on. Wow, Gökhan is fill the blanks immediately. Okay, Gökhan. A, right, the, right. Third one, is not there, is no articles. No article. Now 4, where is number 4? The, correct. What about number 5? What about number 5? So I will read again, but with the articles. A third of all employees, the UK see taking seekers to the acceptable part of work. There is no article here. Nothing more than light-hearted flexibility with working hours. Okay? Yet have taken days off when not actually sick is costing. 4, the economy, because actually we are using the economy, yeah? And after that, 5, the economy, billions of pounds, okay? Which is 6 a year, because we identify a period of time, which is one of the rules. Okay, now what about 7? 7, we are saying the UK as such. 8, the reason for these days off work need to be addressed to, counteract. Now, number 9, the sick culture. Remember, I use the sick culture. I use the sick culture here, not a sick culture, because we identify the unique situation. Now, number 10 is one of the main reasons. Of course, everyone uses it as, cliché, one of the main reasons. So basically, it's also grammar, one of the main reasons. Okay? For this kind of absence is a work fatigue. Okay, so we got 11, the fact that, we're using the fact that here. 12, which is, what is 12? 12 is no article. No article at all, 12. Okay? Now, let's go again and back to 13. This can be seen by what? Now, what is number 13? Who can tell me what is number 13? Come on, what is number 13? What do you think? What is number 13 here? Come on, give me the answers. That's correct. The masses. Correct. Correct. Wonderful. Okay. Correct. Wonderful. And what about 14? What about 14? What about 14? Remember, we identify something here. So, it's actually article. A workstation. Huzzah, thank you so much. That's wonderful. A workstation. Okay, what about 15? Bringing bang, this kind of meaning into the work could be, I think it's easy, folks. It's easy. Come on. What do you think? A difficult task. Thank you so much. Who is this? Nisa Noor. Thank you so much. A difficult task. That's absolutely correct. Okay, let's go by 16. However, remember we are using bridge here. However, what do you think here? 16, what we are using? The most. Correct. Hazal and Nisanur, thank you so much. Correct. Gokhan, thank you. The most, we are using the here. Okay, let's go 17. Family commitments. What do you think? This is a bit tricky because it's a part and group at the same time. So what do you think? Come on, it's a tricky one, I think. Come on, give me an answer. What do you think? Well, Nisanur, she said a family. Gokhan said a. And, okay, Nisanur, she said, but I'm not sure. Okay, the right answer is no article at all. There is nothing. Family commitments. That's it. There is only family commitments because remember, in IELTS, and especially when we write an academic one, okay, look here, what we are using here, and please write it as a note down. It's a bit academic trick. When we describe something here, for example, the reason of taking sick days is family commitments, not a family commitment. When we describe a reason, when we explain a reason for other reason, remember this technique. We're describing reason for other reason. Okay, what is the first reason? I'm taking, a leave from the job. What is it? Because of sick leave. But what is the reason of sick leave? Is a family reason. So look what I said, is a family reason, because I describe it. But when you write it down, you put a reason first. So you said taking sick leave is family commitments. Now you don't identify any article anymore. So this, remember, when you describe reason for another reason, you remove the articles. Thank you. Okay. Let's go for 18. What do you think is 18? Come on, show me something. Well, I see the answer because I didn't see the answers yet. Excuse me. The family is correct. The family is correct because we identify the family. Nisanur, she said, there or nothing. It's a good challenge, by the way. No, it's there, by the way, not nothing. It's a good answer. So, let's go for flexible working hours. Flexible working hours. What do you think about flexible working hours? $19. What about it? 19. Come on, it's a tricky one. Which one are we going to use? Which article? No article? Which one? So, 19, what is 19? What do you think? A flexible? Hazal said a flexible. Okay, who else? Come on, give me more answers. Give me more answers. Gökhan say no article. Okay, good. More answers. Well, Gökhan, thank you so much. You are the correct answer. Actually, there are no articles in 19 at all. Flexible working hours. Flexible working hours. There are no articles in 19. So let's go finally with 20. What do you think? B, what? What do you think? Just think about it. It's part of group here. Wants to benefit the most. Part of group here. Exactly, Nisanur. Thank you so much. Nisanur, she said the ones. Yes. Remember this technique. Once is actually part of group. So we're using the article there. Simple. It's logic thinking. Good job, by the way. Everyone who's sharing with me is good job. Okay. Now, remember one thing. In the tip here, I wrote it for everyone. Article can give you a clue of an answer in sentence completion, for example, summary completion questions. So if you have any questions to summarize it in the essay, especially in the writing task 2, okay, which is 250 words, remember that we basically need to summarize some information. The article will help you to summarize the information. So this is how things work out. Is when you see articles put it, actually you're summarizing, and basically, and remember, please write it as a note. In conclusion, all the time, get more information from the articles. In conclusion part, especially in essay, it's very important that we are dealing with it and write it correctly. Now, let's go for kind of like, it will be the one of the exercises before the break. We have 5 questions here. We got 5 questions here. And I want you remember. Now, let's put the word here. Okay, should I give you like 2 minutes to read the article again? What do you think? Or do you remember it? What do you think? I'm reading the chat right now. So, let's go a bit with a little adventure for a couple of minutes here before we go for a break. Billions of pounds lost through unjustified sick days. And what are we going to put here? What do you think? I'm waiting the answer, folks. Time is running, time is clicking here. I see some response in the chat here. Okay, now I will give you the answer. Okay, Nisanur, I will give you the answer. Now, billions of pounds are lost through unjustified sick days, and the reasons for this need to be looked at. The reasons. So the first one, I'll put the reasons to be looked at. Now, number two, as much as a third, remember, third of workers, or 100, remember, we have third or 100, we use a number which is plural but it's a single. Now here we are using the word third. Now number three, okay, we got work fatigue is when what? With their work. People are bored. The word fatigue here is simple. Word fatigue is being exhausted, tired. But also the same here is like people are bored from, with their work. So that's why we use when people are bored. Okay. 4, changes people perspectives of their jobs might be a difficult task. A difficult task. Now, number 5, problems within the family. Problems within the family are the most common reason. Within the family, part of group. Excuse me. By the way, I'm coughing because of something else, not because of what's the situation right now. So, Hassan said, is the course only containing grammar? No. This course is not only containing grammar. This is the first session, and after the break, we're going to go for articles and essay technique, and plus some vocabs. So, I will see you again after the break. We're going to take a break right now, and we will back again after 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you.